Good afternoon, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and remember to make sure that you always borrow money from a pessimist. They'll never expect it back. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Children of Silentown, developed by Elf Games and Luna 2 Studio, and published by Datalic Entertainment. At least I hope that's how it's pronounced. I really hope it is. And while Datalic Entertainment might be a rather large publisher with a ton of games under their belts, this seems to be the only game developed on Steam by Elf Games and Luna 2 Studio. Interesting. If it truly is their first game, then I wish them all the luck in the world. So, this game is a point-and-click atmospheric game where you play as a little 12-year-old girl named Lucy. As you play her, you have to go around town talking with people, doing chores for your mother, and along the way, solve little puzzles of different variations. Now, I'm sure that further on down the story, it'll probably become a lot more clear about what you're doing and why. It's just in the beginning, it's kind of just this. As for the main story, you live in a village where every night monsters roam around at night, and if you're caught outside, that you get eaten, or abducted, or killed, or something, but you definitely disappear. I didn't get far enough into the game yet to figure out what exactly happens, but disappearing isn't exactly good either, so yeah. Anyway, let's dive deeper into this game and find out if it's worth its whopping asking price of $20 American, shall we? Also, it is not in early access, at least not at the time of recording. Oh, but real quick, did you know that I have a brand new segment I post every Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time? I call it MiAh the King's Game of the Week, where I don't take a look at the best, most recently released games that week, but instead take a look at super old games that were really awesome back in their day, and try to shine a light on them so that more people can see them and play some really legendary games from the distant past. And make sure that you tune in this Friday because it's going to be a really good one. Now then, on to the review. So, I struggled with myself to figure out exactly how to review this game. I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience reviewing games like this. Not only that, but I've been struggling for the longest time today just trying to make this video get to the right amount of time that I need simply because I'm that far out of my element. So I'm just going to attack it as I always do, and as I always do other games, and just give it my best. So, as always, let's start with the positives, shall we? So up first, I love the art design. It's unique, it's different, it's coherent, and it works really well for the spooky, mysterious theme that the game has going on for it. The attention to detail is there, the right color and shading is there, they have a good contrast, and overall everything looks really very nice overall for what they're trying to do here. It's got a whole darker theme going to it, and look at the character's eyes. I mean, how freaky is that? But at the same time, it's really interesting, and I have a feeling that it's going to play a part in the game somewhere down the road. Next up would be the sound, music, and voice acting. Now, so far there's only been voice acting in the opening cutscene, but it was still really well done. The music is fantastic, by the way. Like, it is amazing. It's always there. It's a constant in the game. It always sounds great, and it always fits the mood perfectly. I could not go on more about the music, so I'm going to cut it off now before I go into a rant about how awesome the music is. It sets the tone for this spooky game the whole time you're playing it perfectly. The sound effects, they sound realistic. I don't really get a lot of the sound effects. I mean, a ball bouncing, fire crackling, but that's about it. But even so, I feel like I've heard enough to think they sound decent, and I don't think the lack of having sound effects on everything is a detriment to the game. Now, the story. I love it. It's so mysterious, it's so vague, it's so spooky. Monsters in the night, everyone must hide in their homes as the sun sets and never leave the village. Children disappearing left and right for mysterious reasons. Parents discussing vague stuff behind the kids' backs. And that's not all. There are other things involving the story that I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I'm very curious to keep playing just so I can discover the whole mystery here. The game does a great job at building up the suspense and really just making you want to see what comes next. Like, I really want to know, who are they? Why are they there? Where are they? What's the deal with the monsters? Why at night? Why are kids going missing? What's happening to the kids? I just have all these questions I need answered, and the game did a great job of really sucking me in, so I want to know. Alright, so the next positive thing I want to talk about is the overall gameplay and the feel of the game. And you know what I mean by the feel of the game. Like, it needs to feel good when you're playing it. So, I didn't put this in the script, this is ad-libbing now, but it does feel really good when you play it. I don't know how else to explain it, it just does. But, as I mentioned earlier, it's a point-and-click game, and if you don't know what that is, basically you only use your mouse to play. You click to move, to inspect objects, you click to combine objects that you collect in your little pack, you click to talk to people, and overall it's rather slow-paced, with a lot of patience needed to play. But in this point and click game, along with all the stuff that you'd be used to from other point and click games, it adds another mechanic to help broaden your horizon of gameplay: singing. Now, don't worry, not me singing. You're not going to hear that, thank God, nobody wants to hear that. But yes, singing. As you progress throughout the game, Lucy, the girl that you'll be playing as, will discover notes, musical notes. And once she gets enough, she learns a song. And she will be the one singing. I know, relief flooding through you. These songs serve a purpose to help you further expand the world and to help you explore and solve problems or puzzles that you come across. Then there are mini games involving puzzles of some kind, like the one I kept finding was Sewing Up a Broken Mind. Now, it's a bit confusing, and I'm not going to go further into it because it'd be hard to explain with words, which is fine because I refuse to say more. I'm going to keep it vague and just tell you that it was interesting, with an interesting outcome every single time you do it. And while the puzzles are challenging, they aren't too difficult. I suck at puzzles in games, and I was still able to figure them out after some trial and error, so don't worry about that too much. And by puzzles, I don't just mean, a maze or something. I mean, you're walking around town, you need to progress, and you have no idea what items you need or where to find them, so you have to explore until you find, like that kind of puzzle. But if you've played point-and-click games in the past, then you kind of figured that was going to be here anyway. Now, let's go into that price tag. Do I think it's worth it? Well, to make a long video short, yes, I do think it's worth it. With the voice acting, the quality of gameplay, the lack of bugs and glitches, the creative writing and interesting story, and the length of time for this game, which I'm sure will be longer than 4 hours, I hope, I really think this game is worth its asking price. I mean, I even love the little animations of the characters and animals in the game. They're fluid and smooth, and while they're not something fantastic or next gen, they feel real and help give life to the characters and the environment around you. Alright, so now I gotta go into the negatives of this game before I go into my overall conclusion. Make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. Really helps me out a lot, so does sharing my video. Also, don't forget my new segment every Friday. Okay, but seriously now, back to the negatives. The game doesn't really have any. Okay, it does have one minor negative that I had to really nitpick to get. It's lacking in direction. It has very few hints or clues as to what direction you're going in or what it is you need to be doing. Now, once you unlock your first song and you start singing to random people, you kind of get a glimpse into their mind, which kind of helps you with hints every now and then about what this person wants or doesn't want or how you need to progress. But besides that, the game really does just let you wander around aimlessly trying to figure out your own way through it. Now, that might just be because it's in the beginning of the game and there's not a whole lot happening right now, and hopefully that'll change as you get further into the story, but in the beginning it's pretty vague about what you should do or where you should go. And that's it. Okay, so now that ugliness is out of the way, overall, I think it's a pretty damn good game. It's really interesting, it's engaging, mysterious, and it plays really well with beautiful music and great gameplay components. If you're a fan of point-and-click games, pick this one up, definitely. I highly recommend you do. It's got mystery, it's got originality, it's got a dark theme, and it's really well put together, and it's really well written as well. I actually don't think I mentioned that yet, but it's actually really well written. And that's really important for games like this. So, honestly, I recommend anyone who loves these games or is even curious about these kinds of games to give this one a shot. Just remember, if you don't normally play games like this, it is a bit slower, it's got a lot of puzzles and outside-the-box thinking, and it requires patience and dedication to sit through it. Okay? Alright, so unfortunately that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.